Hey everyone, you're watching Tamit Saleh's Tennis Forum. This is going to be a bit of a two-part special. In part one, we're going to be looking at Novak Djokovic winning Cincinnati again for the second time and completing the double golden career masters. We look at some stats and facts as well. And then in part two, of course, the US Open begins today, so we're going to be looking at the US Open, the draws, some stats and facts, and also my predictions for the tournament. But yeah, in part one, Novak winning Cincinnati for the second time, and there are a lot of records tumbling or looking like they will tumble. So first of all, this was his 35th Masters 1000 title. It ties him level now with Rafa. They both have 35. Roger Federer in third place on 28. I feel like this will be a bit of a cat and mouse race between Novak and Rafa over the next couple of years or so. But Novak's stats or percentages are slightly better than Rafa. He has won 35 Masters 1000 now out of 115 played. Rafa has played 3 extra Masters, so that's 118 played. There's not much to pick between the two, and I feel like the main factor for Novak is that he's won them all, and he's won them all twice, whereas Rafa is still missing a couple. In terms of the big titles, now this is the Grand Slams, the Masters 1000, the ATP finals, Novak extends his lead over Rafa on that one. Rafa and Roger actually. Novak now has 57 big titles compared to Rafa's 54 and Roger's 54. If you include the Olympics, then Rafa has 55 in that one as well. And his percentage of winning a big title in comparison to how many he's played in is actually the best in history since 1990. He is winning a big title every 3.3 big tournaments he's playing in, very close to Rafa. Once again, you know, it could change with Rafa winning a tournament, Novak not winning a couple. So Rafa is actually on 3.4. So when you look at the big titles or big tournaments, Djokovic has played in 186. Rafa has played in 184. Rafa has 54, Novak has 57. If you include the Olympics gold, then it's 55 out of 185, of course. Third place on the list is Roger Federer on a 4.3 ratio of win rate. So Roger has played in 233 big tournaments and 154. Now, one contributing factor to that could be that he is 5 years older than Rafa, 6 older than Novak. So the percentages will start dwindling down for both Novak and Rafa as well. But some astounding stats for you there. And when I read it, I'll include the article link in the description. Please have a read of it. It is a fantastic article. And thank you to, I believe it was George from my previous video that requested me giving my source links as well. So yeah, that'll be in the description. Have a read of it. Some amazing stats there. So yeah, a little bit about the final itself. Novak Djokovic played Milos Raonic in the final. The Canadian has been in pretty good form this tournament. Actually, he's been in very good form this tournament, defeating Tsitsipas on the way, and Murray, of course, earlier on, who beat Zverev himself. So Raonic came into this final in red-hot form. Novak, on the other hand, I was actually thinking he might retire, or how's he going to do? Because if you saw the semi-final, which I was very lucky to catch pretty much all of it against RBA, there were so many points in that match. So I'm going to talk about the semi-final a little bit as well, because I didn't think Novak could get through it. His neck seemed to be playing up. I think he took 3 medical timeouts, and I know he gets a lot of hate for it and a lot of conspiracies about how he's game fixing or something to throw his rival off, but I don't like looking into those things too much for any player. But yeah, he came through it with the neck problem. In the third set, he was actually serving for the set. He was 5-2 up, and then RBA managed to bring it back to 5-all and then 6-5, meaning RBA was now serving for the set. And I think he was like 30-15 up, and then Novak just hit some blinders really out of nowhere to get that break. And then in the tie break, it was a flawless tie break from Novak, 7-love, and that extends his tie break 100% percentage in 2020. And yeah, I don't know how he came through that one. It was a riveting match, and considering that RBA had won the 3 previous hardcourt meetings between the two, RBA seems to be a bit of a bogey player. His style of play seems to work against Novak very well. No, I believe during the match they were saying a stat that RBA was trying to become the third player in history to get 4 wins in a row against Novak. Now you might guess the other two are probably Roger and Rafa. Well, it's not. It's Jo-Wilfried Tsonga and Andy Roddick. But this was over a decade ago, and it was sort of like a, let's say, a baby Novak. So RBA's 4 wins in a row would have been far more impressive. However, Novak did come through, and then in the final he played against Raonic, lost the first set 6-1. And actually, the only game he won, in that first set, he faced break points on that game as well. So lots of double faults. The neck, I don't know what was going on. He didn't take him like any time off, but it did look quite worrying, especially for Novak. I do feel like Novak maybe was conserving a bit of energy as soon as he knew the first set was done and dusted. Maybe, I don't know, around 4-1, 5-1-ish. I do feel like he just, let me throw this set away, get back strong in the second, and he did come back strong in the second set. Got the break around midway through the set, and then managed to hold on to take the second set. Going into the third, Raonic started off the better. He got the early break, so he was 2-love up, but then couldn't consolidate that. Novak broke straight away, and I feel like that gave Novak the edge again, and then he held serve. He broke again for 3-2, and then eventually managed to close the game out at 6-4. Raonic did have a break point in that final game, but couldn't convert. And Raonic now loses his 4th Masters 1000 final in a row. He's never won a Masters 1000, and I think this is probably as close as it got for him. And also having a 0-10 head-to-head against Novak, it is now 0-11. So I don't know what it is with these, let's say, mid-gen, because they're not next-gen, they're not like Novak, like they're sort of like stuck in the middle with the Dimitrovs and that, but these crazy head-to-head records, like amazing 11-0, 12-0, 13-0, it's just like, I feel like a mental edge over these players has helped Novak and Rafa and Roger as well along the way. So Novak wins another Masters 1000 title. We are going to look at the updated rankings in a little bit, but yeah, just to give you guys a bit more information, he's won Cincinnati and Monte Carlo twice. The other Masters 1000 he's won at least 3 or more times. So next year, he didn't play in Monte Carlo last year. I'm not sure if he played in the year before. I think he was coming back from injury then, but I think now Novak's next target will be to try win them all 3 times. And considering he is just 2 of the 9 Masters, he needs to do it. I think that is a possibility. And it's just, for me, it just shows that amazing consistency across, all surfaces that Novak has in his game. I know there's no Masters 1000 on grass, which is a real shame, but I mean, he has 5 Wimbledons there as well. So if there were Masters on grass, I'm sure he'd have plenty of those. But yeah, Monte Carlo and Cincinnati, he only has 2 well, I say only, but that's the fewest out of all of them. He has 2 titles. So I reckon in 2021 he will play in Monte Carlo, and he will try to win another one of each just for that triple golden Masters. I think he'll be quite happy with that. In terms of Cincinnati Semi-Finals, Djokovic has actually made 8, which is a record sharing amount with players like Connors and Federer, to name a few. Federer, I think, has 7 Cincinnati titles, so he's converted those semi-finals a lot better than Novak has, who only has 2 now. That's another little stat for you. And finally, we will look at the rankings. Novak Djokovic extends his lead. Now remember what we said in the previous video, that the rankings for this year or currently is going to include 2019's results. So Novak was guaranteed at least 360 points because he played in Cincinnati last year and reached the semi-finals, so there was no threat of losing anything even if he lost in the first round. But those extra 640 points will do him just nicely, which puts him just over 1,000 points ahead of Rafa. So Novak is on 10,816, Rafa on 9,850. So 1,010 points there. Going into the US Open, Rafa not playing, but he won't lose any of his 2,000 points because of the new ATP rules. Novak, on the other hand, he only had a fourth round appearance last year, so he's got plenty to gain. And by the time the US Open is done, if he does win it, he could have 12,680 points, which would be almost 3,000 ahead of Rafa. That win in Cincinnati takes Novak to 23-0 for the season, still undefeated. Raonic actually joked that that's an incredible thing, and if someone said to him 3-0 at the beginning of the season, he'd be very happy to take that. So yeah, outstanding season so far. When will his first defeat come? In the next video, be sure to be tuned in for that. We are going to be looking at the US Open, the draws, potential routes for Novak, Medvedev, Thiem, Tsitsipas, who I believe are the four most likely candidates to win the US Open. Yeah, we're going to looking at the draws for that, so do stay tuned in for that. Once again, glad to be back. I made my, let's say, comeback last week. Really nice to see all your comments, really nice to hear from you, some amazing stuff as well. I hope you enjoyed some of the stats and facts of this video. I will try include my sources in the description if you want to have a good read, some great articles. There is mainly from the ATP Tour website, but also you pick up a lot of, you know, great facts when you're watching the matches. So in the UK we have Amazon Prime, who show all the Masters 1000, and also will be showing the US Open. So luckily I've got a membership on that, very cheap, £3.99 a month for students and £7.99 for like normal people like us. But yeah, cannot wait for the US Open. I'll see you on the next video. Thank you very much. Leave a comment, subscribe, thumbs up, you know the drill.